Today we're going to discuss why Doug Demuro is wrong about the Lexus RC F. I'll see you on the other side. So this is a follow-up video to Doug's video, which says, here's why the Lexus RC F has been a total flop. So his whole point in the entire video is to kind of find out and pick out all the imperfections of this Lexus RC F and why it's not doing so well. And especially in comparison to the BMW M4, he probably says BMW M4 2 times as many times, if that makes sense, than the RC F. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why he's so in love with the BMW M4, but let's get into his video, pick it apart, and see where he might be right, where he might be wrong. I do agree with him for a few things, and let's just get into it. He doesn't like the engine cover with the fake carbon fiber. I think it still looks great. He likes the spindle grille, the triple beams, the daytime running lights. I also agree. I think they all look awesome on this vehicle. He goes on to say he doesn't like them on the SUVs like the LX, which if you guys haven't seen my video on why Doug Demuro was wrong about the LX 570, go ahead and watch that. He goes to the back of the car and he talks about the back of the car for a little bit. He tries to blur out the license plate. Now this has nothing to do with the subject at hand, but Doug, you got over 1 million subscribers. So you could at least cover the license plate or at least pay someone to figure out how to do it for you. Real quad exhaust, he was a big fan of that. However, he said it sounds okay, but not as good as you might expect. I 100% agree with you on this one, Doug. The quad tip exhaust looks amazing. It does sound good, but compared to the LC 500, if you want to hear it, it's right here. Compared to the LC 500, the RC F does not sound good, nearly as good from the exhaust. Now, when you're on the inside and you're driving this 5-liter monster, you get the induction noises. It sounds phenomenal when you're in the cockpit, but I would agree, the exhaust could sound better. Trunk, for some reason, he's really intrigued by the cargo net and the pass-through. Like almost every car has these things, so I don't know why I got hung up there. He got caught in the net, right? He hates on the rear wing and doesn't think it provides enough downforce, and it's a little over the top for him. It's fun. It looks cool. Does everything have to be about performance? This rear wing looks cool. At least I think it does. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, you could make the same argument on the LC 500 as well with the pop-up spoiler. Like, come on, it's cool. He gets into the back and he farts while he gets back there. At least it sounds like it. I'll show a comment of that. For some reason, he doesn't like the speaker placement in the back. No one sits in the back. So I don't know why he doesn't. He's just finding things to gripe about. And then he complains about 2 other things in the back. One is the fold-out armrest. He said there's no pull tab, there's nothing to get it out. You have to dig in with your hands. Like, big whoop. Like most cars, you have to pull it down some way. Like, put your fingers in there. It's not even dirty. It's not even putting your fingers in mud, dog. Just pull down the damn armrest. And then also, he complains about the cup holders have, well, it's like this little slidey thing. And I think it's cool. And he has a little F Sport or F logo in the back. And he's like, well, why would you have it back there? No one's ever gonna see it, blah, blah, it's in the weirdest spot. That's fine. Like, what's wrong with that? He does like the quality of the interior. He likes the gauge cluster. Of course, I agree with him. Interiors on Lexus are very, very premium, especially the RC and the RC F. The gauge cluster he likes. However, he does not like the font of the speed. He says it's from like the 1980s. I think it looks cool. I don't know. Again, I feel like he's just trying to find things to gripe on. Griping on things does get people to react, and reacting gains views and views, blah, blah, blah. If you watch the video, he really complains about the performance of the vehicle. He just doesn't get it when he compares it to the BMW M4. He blames the speed of the car on the transmission. The transmission's not the issue on the car, but he does bring up the weight, so he knows the weight is a part of the issue. Transmission, yeah, maybe it's not quite as fast as like the Porsches and the BMWs 8-speed. This one is perfectly fine. I think it's very satisfactory. He may have not have been driving it in Sport Plus mode, which definitely increases the response and the shifting times of the vehicle. Another thing he complains about is the acceleration. It's not as good as the M4. Yes, well, one, it's heavier, right? Well, the transmission may be a tad bit slower, but in my opinion, one of the biggest things is that the M4 has a launch control mode or electronic launch control. The RCF doesn't have anything like that. You will only find that on the brand new RCF Track Edition that came out for 2020. and that brings the car 0 to 60 time just under 4 seconds. That launch control plays a huge role in accelerating the car 0 to 60. So the car is not just about 0 to 60 in my opinion, and he overemphasizes the importance of 0 to 60. How often do you go 0 to 60? Hardly anyone pushes their car 0. It's just a benchmark for measuring how quick cars accelerate. Anyways, hardly anyone does it in the real world. And you don't even do it on a racetrack, but let's just go. He ended up losing all his driving impressions. He somehow deleted all of the film for the driving impressions, which is really disappointing because I think that would have shown maybe a different story. Because when you're in the moment and you get excited and have fun with the car, sometimes that can really change your, I guess, agenda going into it. He lost the driving impressions, blamed it on technology, but he knows it was his fault. He was just joking about it. But that's just really frustrating. So he sums it up, instead of driving it, he sums it up in his house or something, whatever. He loves the interior, lots of power, but he calls the transmission lazy. I don't think it's lazy at all, especially in Sport Plus mode. Light steering, he says it has light steering, like an RX. That couldn't be further from the truth. Yes, it's not gonna be as stiff as a BMW. In fact, when I get in BMWs, I drive Lexus all the time. There is a huge difference in steering from the GX to the RX to the RC to the RC F even. There's also a huge difference in steering from a Lexus to a BMW. I hate how BMW steering is so stiff in most of the vehicles. Not all of them, but most of them are just overly stiff. It's not fun to drive on a daily basis. There are some people that like to drive with that stiff of a steering, but it's like a workout. And when I'm in a luxury vehicle, I don't want to work out necessarily. Maybe the steering's super stiff so all those BMW fanboys can get their pump on while they're driving, the girls can check them out. I don't know. He can feel the heft, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a great thing on a track. On a day-to-day basis, what does heft mean? Well, it can mean additional safety. It can mean additional soundproofing. It can mean additional stability at high speeds and a better interstate or cruising vehicle, which are all things that people can benefit from on a daily basis. Now, it's not going to benefit the fuel mileage, but these things aren't getting good gas mileage to begin with. He characterizes the perfect person for this vehicle. It's somebody who wants M4 performance and wants a comfortable luxury cruiser. It's not the fastest car in the segment, but for people who are too old for the M4. It's comfortable, luxury, and it's a cruiser, and it has high performance like an M4, maybe not quite as extreme, but the M4 doesn't have nearly the same comfort, nearly the same luxury, nearly the same reliability, etc. as the RC F. I would pick the RC F every single time unless I was going to the track. Then I would pick the BMW M4. But on a day-to-day basis, I would never, ever want to drive an M4. When there's something that competes with it, like I said, not quite as fast, but it's better in every other single way in my opinion. People for the too old thing is just ridiculous. He's just characterizing Lexus as a too old brand. If you can't handle the steering on a BMW M4, you're just too old and you just want something that's luxurious and comfortable. Who wants to sit in a car that's not comfortable? Does that mean you're too old? I don't know. Am I too old? Maybe my thinking's too old. I'm 30 years old. I don't think I'm too old for an RCF. I don't think I'm too old for a BMW M4. It's just I prefer comfort, luxury, reliability, quality, and performance instead of just performance and look at me, look at my biceps in my BMW. And this one at the end really fired me up, and I try not to get fired up about these things because this is all just fun. This video is all fun. Doug, if you ever watch this, just blow apart my videos because this makes us better. Good criticism makes us better. At the end of the video, Lexus needs to decide whether they make a purely luxury vehicle like a Lincoln or Acura, which is laughable because I don't think either of those are the high tier of luxury vehicles, or he doesn't know if they want to make a performance and a luxury car like a BMW and Cadillac, which again, I don't think Cadillac is a premier luxury brand. So he says this weird in-between thing leads to this half-hearted attempt like the RCF because he doesn't understand balance. He doesn't understand that you can have the whole package. It's half-hearted to him because the only thing he sees one extreme or the other. It either needs to be fully luxury or it needs to be super, super high-end performance. You can't have the two unless you say, well, the whole lineup. That's why you just have luxury versions of the car and then performance versions. You shouldn't cross them. That's the kind of thing I feel like he's trying to communicate. He doesn't think there should be a balance between performance and luxury and comfort, where Lexus does that better than anybody. He says you don't buy the RCF because it's the best car. Now, this is his opinion. He says you buy it because it's the best deal. He thinks no one buys these cars at MSRP. Now, no one buys these cars at MSRP. Everyone gets discounts on them. Is the BMW overpriced? What's going to hold its value better? Let me ask you that. What's going to hold its value better? The Lexus will. Why? Because it's not going to break nearly as often as a BMW. So it's a better value. And I'm not going to get to the Doug score because he breaks it down, and his Doug score is 100% subjective. So, I mean, that's why it's called the Doug score, right? It's not called like the factual objective score. It's all subjective, and that's fine. He has its own little characterization of every single car he's ever driven. And no one really cares. Let's just go back. Let's go back to Lexus either needs to make purely luxury cars like Lincoln or Acura. I actually think Lincoln is pushing the envelope here. I think Lincoln is actually embodying a luxury and performance brand. They have that, they like boosting their motors. They have very, very powerful twin turbo motors. I think Lincoln's actually marrying the two. I think they're becoming almost BMW as well as Mercedes with the amount of power they're putting in their vehicles. So I think they're the same quality. I don't know, possibly. I just would never own a Mercedes, a BMW, or a Lincoln. I would own an Acura. I would own, and that's about it. That's about it for luxury cars that I would own, that I would want to drive daily. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think Doug is right in that the RCF is only for old people? The RCF is only for people that want to save. They don't want to spend as much on a BMW M4, so they settle for this cheaper Japanese car. Do you think Doug is right when it comes to Lexus doesn't know what they're about? They don't know whether to be a purely luxury brand like Jaguar and Acura and Lincoln, or they don't know whether they should blend some performance in there like BMW or Mercedes. What do you guys think? Am I crazy? I feel like I got just as fired up about this video as I did the LX video. Yeah, I just know that Doug is really good at what he does in terms of he's super knowledgeable. He is very quick to have an opinion about something. That's because he knows what he likes, and I respect that. However, I don't think he's right about this Lexus RCF compared to any other of the cars in the segment. It's very different, and 20 years from now, this RCF will still be putting down 4.20 to 60s, or the BMW M4 will be in a scrapyard. What do you guys think? I will see you in the comments below. I like sounding off on this. I don't do too many reactionary videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, peace out. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video. Hope you really enjoyed it. If you would like for me to provide much better Toyota and Lexus content in the future, I have tons of aspirations for the channel. Please consider supporting me over on my Patreon page. You can find a link to it right over here. And I always have a monthly giveaway for my Patreon supporters, and this monthly giveaway is right over here. And thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.